We are back again with another episode of my Florida Panthers franchise mode series right here on NHL 20. And today we are simming yet another season. But it's not just yet another season. This team has been successful for the duration of this series. We've made the playoffs every single year after making the Stanley Cup final in year one. The last postseason loss to Buffalo, who eventually went on to win the Stanley Cup, is probably the most devastating that we've seen thus far, although in the aftermath, we went on to hire their head coach. So we'll see if that works out for us. But the bottom line is this team's still competitive. I fully expect us to make the playoffs. It would be shocking if we don't. This was the design. When you choose a team like Florida for a series like this, when you know how old Huberdeau and Barkov are, you know how young some of these prospects are, we are in prime winning time. Yes, it's a shame we haven't won yet. Hopefully, though, this is the year to do so. Of course, for the most part, we've stuck to the plan and just built from within. Matter of fact, there is not a single forward on this team who does not start this series as a member of the Florida Panthers. We have not brought in a forward, or at least we have brought in forwards, of course, like we had Brendan Gallagher. But this team right now, 100% built with preset parts. Defensively, obviously, it's a little bit different, having brought in Sergachev, but obviously we stuck with Yandel and Matheson for pretty much as long as we could. Literally with Yandel, we did. He retired as a member of this team. But now it's a matter of what is this young defense going to be capable of. And the debate is there as far as what's the best way to get players to grow. In a lot of in the early series for this year and some of the series we've done on Twitch, which would have been closer to the beginning of the year, I tested around with playing players within their proper defined role and didn't really feel like I had that much success, especially in like the San Jose series. I don't know, maybe I'm just misremembering, but that was kind of the main tactic. It didn't really work. In this series, has it necessarily worked playing players outside of that role? Not really. Obviously, we've already gotten rid of a young defenseman who, just wasn't going to pan out. So we'll keep a close eye on these four. As it is, the good thing is we can mix and match now that we have this new coach. We have assets to go out and get players if we need to. I mean, Lucas Dostal is a massive question mark in goal for us. But we have the assets to go out, make moves, make adjustments if certain aspects of this team aren't exactly, firing at the level that they should be. Whether or not that has to happen, time will tell. I mean, again, draft pick-wise, we at least have all of our picks and some extras. We took this goalie, Daze, in the last draft, so I'm intrigued to see how he does. Obviously, defensively, we ended up with David as well, who could be used, and the forward that we ended up with as well, Commodore, who could also be used if there's a blockbuster to be made, which might not be necessary, but might be. I mean, we could bring in another legit top two defenseman and have a top pairing similar to what we're seeing in the Russian series right now. I mean, that would be fairly easy to do now that I think about it. I mean, say Vinny Trocheck's struggling, use him, use that cap space, go out, get somebody else, because of course some of those contracts are going to be up. So we actually have a lot of contracts up, as you would have seen at the end of the last episode, that we're going to have to take care of here. So this might be Trocheck's last season here anyway, but there's a lot to keep an eye on. But for the most part, again, we're expected to be competitive. It would be a shock if we weren't a good team. A legitimate shock, if not an outrage. Now, I know we took a look at this last time, but again, you look at these ratings. I mean, the Bruins have a better defense, which isn't surprising, but with an offense that's that good, we should be able to find a ton of success in the regular season. And as per usual, whether or not we find success in the postseason, well, that remains to be seen. It would be devastating, I would say. I think that's a fair way to describe it. It would be devastating if we were to go this entire series without making the Cup final again after making it in Season 1 when it wasn't really expected. It's like, yeah, okay, with the sim, I can kind of see how we'd make it, but yeah, to never make it back, I don't know. And that's not to say that that's how I'm thinking, but again, we don't know how this upcoming offseason is going to go with a lot of these big contracts. We might have to make certain moves. I mean, again, it's probably Vinny Trocheck's last season here. So, I don't know. I'm just so desperate for this team to win ultimately, and it would be very, very nice if we did. And right now, at least, things are looking good to start the season. 8-2-1 through our first 11 games. In first place in the division, Jonathan Huberdeau, 16.7 goals in 11 games. Very, very good. And the one thing I want to check, I don't see what Vinny Trocheck's complaining about. I really don't. He's on the penalty kill too, isn't he? Yeah, I don't see what he's complaining about. There's not much I can do, by the way, about the negative chem. I messed around with that quite a bit before. So we're going to keep going. Hopefully Trocheck doesn't get upset about a broken promise, but there's not much I can do. I mean, his team, his ice time, the team he's on, like, hey, you just get to deal with this, buddy. You're still making a shitload of money. You're on a team that's going to be a playoff team unless the wheels fall off. How about you just shut up and play hockey? Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Or I can put you on the fourth line and you can complain more. Although yep, there we go, broke my promise. Whatever. Persuade. Thank you, Vinny. Jesus, so that was pointless. Thank God the dice rolls went on my side. So he ended up losing 1 morale, or however much that actually affects him, which is fine by me. Apparently it's going to be a good year for rookies. Now, unless there's defensive changes that need to be made, I mean, I don't really expect to move draft picks, so this draft might actually affect us a little bit. Obviously, we're expecting a very low pick in the first round. Trocheck, not happy about how he's playing. Vinny, you are being a massive pain in the ass. There we go, and after all that, Trocheck's right back to where he was morale-wise. Oh, my sweet summer child, would you just play hockey? Just play. Like, there need to be more answers for that. I still say I like that system, as tedious as it can be. It just needs to be further expanded upon, even still. So we're in first place. We have a decent cushion over Montreal. Huberdeau is still leading this team in points. Only had 5 goals the past month. But we're going to take a look at how the team's doing. So Huberdeau doing very well. Barkov doing very well. Plus-minus numbers are also great, which means they're not just scoring on the power play. And Owen Tippett's not out of place. 26 points and a +17 for Heponiemi. That's tremendous. Borgstrom's a little bit behind. Plus-minus is good, though. Denisenko's doing well. That third line's not clicking. 7 points, -4 for Hunt. 10 points for Trocheck and a -3. Hutsko's doing okay, but not as well as he could be doing. All right. So, in theory, the play... There's a couple of different options we have here. But with Vinny struggling, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of that. Denisenko, Heponiemi, Hutsko. Hunt, Borgstrom, Trocheck. Fourth line. Schwint's doing well. Not too happy with Hauerluck or Noel. Hauerluck's going to be dropped. If Saron Noel doesn't pick it up, there's a good chance I'm going to drop him. Again, he doesn't have that much value at this point. I like him, I want to keep him, but it's just not clicking. That top unit's not as dominant as they were. Second pairing's looking okay. Third pairing's been great. Scott Connolly having a great time. Spencer Knight at a 914. Dostal's been good, although the win-loss record isn't great. So I know we're doing well, so it's like, oh, okay, there you go, making changes even though your team's winning. I know. I know. Could come back to haunt me. But we'll see. I mean, there are, the only adjustments we made were to tweak the negative aspects of our team. So in theory, messing with the negative aspects without affecting the positive should help the team. Well, whether or not that, sustains, time will tell. But hopefully it does. I have no regrets on that front. At least not yet. Time will tell if I ultimately do. Henrik Borgstrom, No longer happy about the ice time, which isn't surprising, but buddy, I don't know what the hell to tell you here. You weren't getting it done. I mean, you were getting it done on the second line, but point total wise, you kind of weren't. So, I mean, I guess that's the one debatable point. It's like, but Borgstrom was okay. The points just weren't where you'd want them to be. I'm having an argument with myself. Let's see. Borgstrom. He's still looking okay. That third line's doing a lot better. I do wonder how Huts go. 17 points. I don't know if there's any way to keep Borgstrom happy. He's already in prime spots. What if we take Saron Noel off the PK and we put Henrik Borgstrom next to Vinny Trocheck and just we see what happens. See if we can keep him happy. Probably won't be able to. The AHL team is also killing it. I want to get through December, and then we'll figure out how she's going from there. So Nashville is up next. A little bit of a Western road trip, and Hutsko goes down. Not for long, but he goes down, and I should have just put. I don't really want Hauerluck in that spot. Let's go best lines for the moment. We'll go best lines. Top line stays the same. Let's go with Borgstrom back up on the higher units. And Cole Schwint deserves an opportunity on that third line. And then defensively, it's still good. All we had done was just change players around. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, he's only out for a week. Jonathan Ong was roughed up, but he's healthy. So that's not too bad either. We lose to Nashville. We lose to Vegas. Western road trip. Oh, God. Oh, boy. 3. Okay, it's not 4 in a row. Hutsko is back, thankfully. It's a Christmas present to me. How is that fourth line looking? All right, Noel's picked it up quite a bit. I still think Hauerluck is the odd man out. So we're going to go best lines. Yeah, and if we do go best lines, Hauerluck is the odd man out. So that makes sense. It's very weird that it puts Heponiemi on the third line out of the gates. It's a little bit bizarre. Maybe keep an eye on that. We're going to go back to our ideal lines and see if that can kind of spark something with this team that's lost 5 out of our last 6. Make that 6 out of our last 7 in this December slump. Now, Dryden Hunt's going to be out for a month, which kind of sucks. But that does just give Schwint a better spot in the lineup. Puts Hutsko on the far wing. We'll stick with that. Borgstrom's happy you kept your promise. You're welcome, Henrik. We need you to step up right about now, though. Help this team out of this slump that we're in. We're still in first place, though, as of January 1st. 23-12-5. It's a very solid record. 51 points. Doesn't exactly have us in the President's Trophy race, but has us in the race to be the top team, although Philadelphia has games at hand. So we've seen quite a bit with this team already in terms of looking at stats. So I'm going to sim through January as well, and we'll see how we do without Dryden Hunt. And right now, losing far too many games, and there can be reasons, multiple reasons for that. If it gets worse, like if we have a really bad week here, we're gonna have to stop the sim a little bit early. Shootout loss, regulation loss. Chicago is a win. Montreal is a win. Edmonton. Dostal goes down to back spasms. He's out for a couple of weeks. The injuries are adding up a little bit. Justice. Congratulations. You're going to get the call up. I'm going to see how you do for us. If we lose you on waivers, so be it. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Let's just go best lines. It's quicker to handle it that way. And then down in the AHL, let's get one James Reimer between the pipes as the backup. So we play Edmonton. We win 7-2, which is grand. We have one more game this month. It's against the Islanders. Dryden Hunt is back. I might just sit him for this game. I don't know. Yeah, we might as well put him back in. Yeah, we might as well not have him get pissed off about being a healthy scratch. So we are still in first in the division games at hand, actually, over Toronto. Go best lines. Again, make these... Wow, these... The best line combos are very interesting to me. Makes me wonder how we do with them. But there you go. Schwintz in by default now over Hauerluck. Let's sim this game against the Islanders. It goes down as a 4-0 victory. And as of February 1st, 29, 15, and 6. We are the third best team in the East behind Philadelphia and Washington. The West has some murderers with Arizona and Dallas. So maybe it takes the pressure off to not be a 58-win team. Goaltending-wise, Spencer's been fine. Justice, I don't think's played at the NHL level. He has not. Justus. Injury-wise, how has Dostal been? He's been okay. So Anawen has an opportunity to steal away a spot here. Hauerluck hasn't been great. He's on an expiring deal. He's not that expensive. He's still worth keeping around as a depth option right now, but not long-term. And then Patterson we haven't needed yet. So let's take a look. Huberdeau is doing what Jonathan Huberdeau does. 53 points in 50 games. Not quite on last year's pace, but a plus 25. Pretty good. Sasha Barkov also looking good on 54 points in 50 games. Plus 27. And Owen Tippett, 47 points and a plus 16. Fairly happy with that. I do think our top unit is capable of a bit more, obviously. They showed that last year. But right now, they're still doing pretty good. If they could step it up, though, that'd be amazing. Heponiemi is doing, pretty well. 41 points in 50 games. He had 49 last year, so can't really complain. Definitely on pace for his highest goal-scoring total, so very good for the second liner. Borgstrom, though, is just not a big point getter. He's just not. And it makes you wonder. 50 points is good. I don't think he's going to hit that this year, though, unless he really steps it up. It's got to be due to the player type. So I think we have to drop that and probably put him as a playmaker. Now, the 86 offensive awareness hurts, but I was trying to have him be a little bit more physical, and it's just not working. Again, playmaker, sniper, power forward, you get a plus 5. That's why we went with that for the 2 top 6 options. And then Denisenko, again, doing well. Maybe not crazy well. It's a little bit surprising to me that Heponiemi has the goals that he does. Then again, so does Denisenko. I guess in theory, with that goal-scoring ability, Heponiemi's doing well, but I wonder if we change him to a sniper and Borgstrom to a playmaker, have 2 snipers on a line. I think that's worth exploring. Now, you could make the argument, why change Heponiemi whatsoever? And you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong, and that might be making an adjustment that simply doesn't have to be made. I don't disagree with that logic. However, I just want to know, because we know how well he does as a playmaker. The question is, if we, in theory, tell him to start shooting the puck more by switching him to a sniper, is that going to lead to good things, or is that going to screw up how the team is situated? So, Borgstrom will be changed over to a playmaker. And, I guess ideally the in-between would be a 2-way if that doesn't work. But, having him be a power forward, it's like, hey, throw the body around, get to the front of the net. Hasn't really worked out too well for him. And it makes me wonder what he's going to be asking for money-wise. Hopefully not as much. But we'll see what happens there. They still have a plus 1. We'll see how that goes. Third line is currently Dryden Hunt, 10 points. Oof. Ooh. Okay. He is playing himself out of this contract right now. He's been great the last 2 years. He was phenomenal last year. 2 40-point seasons in his last 3 years, but he has been brutal this year. Trocheck hasn't been great either. 22 points, yeah. 30 points is normally what I ask for a third liner, but it's Vinny Trocheck. And then Hutsko's been pretty good with 25 points, but not nearly what he was capable of last year. So that third line not clicking this year is a big part of the reason as to why we're just not where we want to be. Sarah Noel is looking pretty good. Achari's looking okay, and so is Schwinn. So I think the problem is I really want to keep that fourth line together because they're doing so well. In terms of any changes, it's tough to say. Because right now, it's like, okay, like Jonathan Ong could be a third line option. Great face-offs. Like, you know, is that who we want to replace Vinny Trocheck? I mean, and if we bring in someone of a similar overall to Trocheck, they might not be expensive, but it's like they have to be a rental anyway. So we can swap the deck chair for Trocheck or just hope that he and Hunt turn it around. You know, I'd prefer to use Ong and Cliff Poo, and again, Cliff Poo is just, he's not an NHLer with those attributes. They're just far too diverse. So, you know, it's like, it's not concentrated in any one area. It's like, okay, you're a meh playmaker, a meh sniper. You have good power, but the accuracy's not there. Meh offensive awareness, meh defense, meh physical. You know, it's just, if he was a bit more physical like Sarah Noel is, you know, at least those attributes are a bit more concentrated, and you can say, okay, you're a fourth liner at least. For Cliff Poo, it's just, okay, you're a really good AHLer. But right now, like I said, it would almost be like shuffling deck chairs with this offense. So I don't know what to do aside from give them another month and see if they can turn it around, because we know they're capable of doing that. Defensively, I mean, Sergachev and Ekblad not nearly as dominant as they were last year. Morrow's looking good. Penalty minutes are a big concern, though. Smirnoff and Connolly looking okay. And then goaltending-wise, Knight's been fine, and when again, we don't know. So I think we leave it for now, but there are, again, some obvious concerns that I have with this team. You know, justifiably so, I would say. It's just a matter of what happens leading up to the deadline, which is a little bit early this year, on February 26th. So we'll see how this goes. 31 wins now, 3 straight wins to begin the month before, of course, losing there to Arizona because I dared say that we were winning games. Dom Cahoon, that's a pretty big trade from the looks of it. Nick Jensen off to Washington. Blake Wheeler on waivers. With that contract, no thank you, although I am intrigued to see 14 points in 53 games to 79. You know, he's still kind of useful. If I had a guarantee, right? If I had a guarantee that he was retiring, I'd probably go for him. Just for the hell of it. How physical of a player is he still? If I had a guarantee. I'm still super tempted. You know what? I mean, we have the cap space right now, too. Do we claim Blake Wheeler? He looks desperate to not go down to the AHL. Do we save Blake Wheeler from getting banished to the AHL? He had 42 points last year. You know? Blake, I'm going to claim you here, bud. We just beat the Wild. I'm going to see how, like, Dryden Hunt's doing right now, and if he's not killing it, we're giving Blake Wheeler a chance. I am not joking. Dryden, have you turned it around here? 12 points and a -7. He is actually playing kind of, sort of better, but not nearly enough. So, Blake Wheeler, I'm going to call you up, and we're going to give you an opportunity because I have the cap space, and I don't imagine making these crazy trades. So, Dryden Hunt will take a seat for Blake Wheeler. And we're going to see how Wheeler does on this team. How's Sarah Noel doing? Again, the fourth line I just want to keep together. Achari's not exactly killing it either. But we're going to give Blake Wheeler an opportunity. And the only change I'm going to make is I am going to change him to a two-way to hopefully get that chem boost. How much that chem boost really matters in terms of the sim, I don't know. I genuinely don't. I want to believe that it does something, though. I really do. But, again, random number generator. You look at dice rolls and odds and the likelihood that a player does well, you know, it just, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. But there you go, Blake. You get an opportunity out of nowhere. because Dryden Hunt has been disappointing. And, we'll see how you do over the next week. We'll give you 4 games. Yeah, we'll give you 4 games. And we'll give Dryden Hunt 4 games. And, we'll see who's more impressive as Lucas Dostal is back from injury. We have too many players on roster now. Let's actually send down Justice. He clears. We'll have to edit lines to get the goalies back in, which is fine. But a big opportunity for Yvette and Blake Wheeler, who could just randomly go down as essentially a deadline signing or a deadline acquisition, if that works out. And let's get Justice back between the pipes in the AHL, and we are good to go. So let's see how we do over these 4 games. 2 wins, 9 goals for our team in those 2 wins. We play the Couve, and Mangiapane gets traded to Carolina. Dostal's back to 100%. Did we beat the Canucks? They're a good team. Hannafin and Haig for Kerfoot and Jenner. We lost to Vancouver. Nudivara's on the move. A lot of deals are happening, but like I said, I don't really imagine us trading too many pieces. So win 2, lose 2. Not ideal. How did Blake do? Did he show any kind of sign or generate any kind of spark for that third line? There's 11 goals. He had 2 points in 4 games. 2 points. 2 goals in 4 games, what I was going to say. Oh, Blake. I mean, it's tough to say that you shouldn't have the spot after that. It is. I think he gets a little bit more time. Wow, Vinny just hasn't been good. Borgstrom has 30 points. Heponiemi, 24 goals. I think the big issue here has been Vinny Trocheck. 25 points in 58 games. He has just not been the same player, even though he is a almost picture-perfect fit for that third line. So I really do have to wonder here what the deal is.